All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, the bonus to the apostles, and elders, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, coming at you with another lesson of the spirit and power, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. And as I was tuning in on our brother Isaiah's video, The War in Heaven, watch and subscribe. This is the second command in the GMS Pittsburgh count. You know, the brother made mention of how a lot of people, the majority of people, they stumble upon words. Now, the brother went into the word specifically in this video. He went into angel, okay, the angels in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. Now, in this lesson through the spirit, I'm going to go into the word Lucifer, because a lot of people trip on on various different words in the scriptures without doing further research, okay, and without the proper understanding. They just going about, with their own understanding and, believe that the understanding that what they get from it or what their pastor have taught them to be the truth, which is absolutely incorrect. And then they go on and spread that false doctrine or false narrative of the Holy Scriptures. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And I'm going to start at the top. It's the book of Isaiah, or start at verse 4. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 4. It says, matter of fact, Salakia, let me get this first. Spirit wants me to get this first. The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. And you have a lot of our people that have a simple mind state, right? When you go to Proverbs, the first chapter, what does it says? How long? You know what? Let's just get it. I don't even want to try to butcher it. The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22, it says, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Right? Now let's go into that word.
Strong's H 6612. Pethi.
Pathi, right? A person that is naive, simple, foolish, right? Goes into a person that is foolish, Salakia, foolish, silly, and seducible. And a lot of our people have been seduced. A lot of our people have been beguiled, just as Eve was in the garden. But a lot of people have been beguiled by whom? The serpent, that old serpent, right? And they believe every word. But the true understanding comes from who? The true teachers. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 8 says. The book of Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And the true knowledge, the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding are going to come from the men of the Lord through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, whom are to guide, whom are here on earth to also help guide you, okay, with this word of truth. So continuing on, the book of Isaiah chapter 14. And we're going to get some meat off this bone. The book of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 4 says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. And the golden city, right? That great city is where? America, Babylon, the Great. And Edom runs America, Babylon, the Great. The Lord have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. The people whom are the people whom are in power, the people whom are in authority. As the scriptures say in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? Esau, Edom is the wicked. And that staff, this support system, the crutches that E is holding up on are about to be broken. Didn't the Lord say this? Let's get the book, go to the book of Malachi. Chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that's what they have done. And you can see everything what they have accomplished now. Off of the off of the backs of you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You Israelites, by the way. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them, who? It's talking about the people, right? And they shall call them, who? Go to the context, verse 4, the Edomites, the border of wickedness. And the people, who? The Edomites, against whom the Lord have indignation forever. You see? Now jumping back to the Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger and is persecuted. Salakia says, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. Gotta get another precept, the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. What does it say? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And the whole world, the earth, is in a state of mourning under the rulership of this devil. The whole earth, right? The people are crying out. The animals are crying out. You know? The plants, everything is crying out. All right, for this man to be stopped, for this man to be taken out of power. And if you don't believe me, wait till I get further down. As the scripture says, the fir trees shall rejoice. So verse 7, it says, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. So when Esau's taken out of power, the trees are going to rejoice. The earth is going to rejoice. The people are going to rejoice. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So what is this going into? When it says hell from beneath is moved for thee, it's talking about the destruction. The destruction is moved for who? For Esau. You know? And then when it talks about the dead, it goes into what? The feeble, the weak. Right? Now, going into the other nations, right? Comparing the other nations, the Esau, these people are weak. When you go into the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, the 10th verse, what does it say? Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? And these are these other nations rising up against Esau, Edom. You know, that's getting that backing, that military support from Gog and Magog, Russia, as it stated in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. This is prophecy, baby. Prophecy. You see? Verse 10, it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Or thou become like unto us? This is what the other nations are going to say. As you starting to see them say, as you see them being in pushing back against E, talking down on them, you know, having these different chants and rants and basically coming out his neck, you know, rebelling, These nations wasn't doing this 30, 40 years ago, having this rebellious mind state against E. No, they was bowing down. But see, this is E is losing his grips. Okay, this it's over for this man. So it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So thy pomp goes into what? Esau's arrogancy, his excellency, right? His proudness, his majesty. That's what it's going into, right? It's being brought down, and he's being brought down low. When it speaks about the worm is spread under thee, what is that going into? That's going into what? To his decline in excellency, his prosperity, his decay, Hey, it's over for this devil. Verse 12, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And this is the point right here. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Now, people see this, they thinking this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan. No, the spiritual demon Satan is playing his part. The angels, there's angels on the right hand side, there's angels on the left hand side. They are all playing their part. This whole narrative that was pushed that the spiritual demon Satan left the heavens because he was mad at the Most High and he left with a third of the angels and this and that. No. Go to the book of Job, the 1st chapter. Satan answers to the Lord. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it. But I'll just finish this verse 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? This heaven is not talking about the heavens of heavens where our Heavenly Father, is at. No. How thou fallen from heaven. This is going into what? Rulership. This is a condition that is speaking of. How thou fallen from your excellency, your rulership, your kingdom, your prosperity. How thou fallen from heaven, your state of glory, O Lucifer, right? A light bearer. Esau is the light bearer on the left hand side. Son of the morning, how thou cut down to the ground, right? How thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations. This is Esau Edom. This is him who weakened the nations. We know a way he weakened the nations was through his through his philosophies, through his deceit. Okay, through his witchcraft. Let's get a precept real quick. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7 says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. See, the nations was drinking because American Babylon the Great is also known as the whore. So the nations were sleeping and drinking and mingling, okay, with this whore. Right? So it says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And then other nations are seeing the latter end of their getting into bed with America, Babylon the Great. Their diseases, so to speak, that they have got from dealing with America, Babylon the Great. Let's just use, for instance, things of this world that people may know. Like there's certain diseases that an individual can get for sleeping, with a woman with a disease, which you may not know for a couple months, even some for a couple years, right? It just depends on, how certain people's body is. Certain diseases you might get and within 2 weeks, you'll know something's wrong. And then you got other ones where you might not know. I believe they said like AIDS, it might take up to like 2-3 years, something to that effect, of you knowing or developing the symptoms. Salakia, the symptoms. So you might not know unless you go get checked regularly. You see what I'm saying? So that latter end of what these other nations are now starting to see, like By the time these nations looked up, they almost had the full blown the full blown Magic Johnson. You know, through, okay, body decaying, you know, health all jacked up. And the nations are pissed off. All right. So I mentioned I want to get this real fast, and I don't want to make this too long. Just a point that I want to make. The book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6, it says, "Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them." So this Satan that is talking about, this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan, right? And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Right? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doeth Job fear the Most High or not? Right? Hast thou not made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he have on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he have, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he have is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So the Lord gave the spiritual demon Satan commission and say, look, all right, you want to try my servant Job? Bet you got it. You can take all that what he have, right? Just don't put your hands on it. Satan didn't, get the Lord push back and say, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. How you going? You can't tell me what I can do and what I can't do. I'm going to try him my way. No. He followed exactly. He's going to do exactly what the Lord is going to allow him to do. Okay. So, I mean, that's just a point that I want to touch on through the spirit. When you're dealing with Isaiah, the 14th chapter, you know, people see this word Lucifer and they get all bugged out and they think it's talking about the spiritual demon Satan, but it's not. Okay. It's talking about Esau, Edom. Okay. He was also being called Lucifer, you know, the light bearer. All right. And that's what Esau bears, the light, you know, on the left hand side. Matter of fact, let's just go get it real quick. Click on it so you can see. It's not playing, but it's all right. So it says the Lucifer, the light bearer, okay, of the king of Babylon and Satan. You know, going to Satan. You know, this is an opposer of the Most High. You know, you go into that word Satan, Satanus, you know, adversary. All right. So Lord will help us edify. Until next time, I want to say shalom.